Well, today I am doing something a little bit different. I am actually getting ready to head into Death Valley in this guy right here, but that's not the point of the video. Nope, I am testing these tires right here, which are new from Pirelli. They are Scorpion XTMs, all-terrain tires, and they are rated at 3 snowflakes. So that means I can go from the desert and like 97 degrees to really cold, snowy weather. We are not going to test that today, but we are going to be doing some off-road driving. We're going to be going through water. We're going to be in sand dunes. We're going to do all the other things. So my name is Jill Simonello with Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk. Let's go test some tires. So we'll just take a quick look at these tires because they have some interesting treads to them. They've been going already for a couple weeks now, and you can see they come down onto the sidewall. Really interesting tread patterns, and they have some interesting technology that goes into them to be able to traverse the mud and to be able to throw rocks, and yeah, they will also handle extreme temperatures. All right, I am with my co-driver, Chris Chin of Top Speed, and you are riding for Top Speed today, right?
That is correct. Well, I'm staff at Top Speed, so yeah, it's okay.
We are in a Ford Bronco, and we are in the new Pirelli tires, and we're driving on road. And I will tell you, I'm hearing a lot of wind noise and because of the side mirrors, but what I'm not hearing is tire noise. I'm going 87 miles per hour right now, and I'm not really hearing the tire noise. I'm actually pretty impressed. What are your thoughts so far?
I honestly got to agree. So when we left the drive spot, or excuse me, the staging area, and started heading out into the desert, that was actually one of the first things I noticed with these tires, is that there wasn't a lot of road noise or a lot of tire roar. Or for those who are familiar with all-terrain tires and various brands and the different kinds that make them, sorry, our radio is some of our team is communicating with us. If some of you have driven some other all-terrain tires, one thing I did notice too is that there wasn't a lot of the tire drone that you typically get on, all-terrain tires, which I gotta say is pretty impressive, right, Jill?
It really is. The one thing that I've noticed, these are all-terrain off-road tires, so you do feel a little bit of the knobbiness, but you don't feel the thump, 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 thump. Overall, I feel like these are pretty smooth and they're doing a really good job on road. can't wait to take him off-road.
Yeah, I honestly think that makes a really big, bold statement for, I guess, the potential and versatility for these all-terrain tires. Because obviously the point of all-terrain tires is that they're biased to take on various types of topography and terrain, but they're also supposed to kind of be the one for all tire for those who like to do the really rough stuff. In a similar vein, where I'm a huge fan of the road version or the road equivalent to that, which are high performance all season tires. As somebody who lives in the Northeast and lives in the an area with four seasons and who likes driving aggressively and at high speeds and drives, cars with decent amount of power and handling capabilities. Obviously, I can't live with a summer tire all year round because once the temperature drops below 50, they become hard as a rock, and at that point, a major safety issue, especially if the inclement of weather. But I would say that the parallel to these so far, in my impression that I'm getting, and we won't be able to make this assessment until we actually, give them the good test off road, is that these are kind of like the off road equivalent to what I would say are Michelin Pilot Sport All Seasons, which is one of my favorite tires of all time.
Of all time?
Of all time. I put those on all my cars.
Well, and so like the impressive thing is it's like the temperature gauge says it's 84 degrees. I feel like it's a lot hotter than that. And these have what is it, 3 snowflake rating. So you can go cold in these tires, and we are driving hot. So I don't know. I mean, the versatility of these tires is impressive, and I feel like we're kind of rambling at this point. But the overall thing I would like to impress upon you is first impressions with the on-road driving in these tires. Thumbs up. Two thumbs up.
Yes, there we go. We can do 4 thumbs up, but she's driving.
Yeah. You can maybe give 3 thumbs up. All right, we are now on day 2 of the Pirelli tire drive, and we finally hit dirt. And we are on some gravel roads. I was passenger earlier. We were in a Bronco. We've switched into a Wrangler. And, we found that the sweet spot for the speed at which to avoid the washboards is around about 50 miles per hour. And we're going about 45 right now. And but I want to say overall, these tires are really, really comfortable. I have been on road to off road. Like, I've just been very impressed with how they are performing. We have some sand dunes a little bit later, so we will see even more then. But they talk about being comfortable and relaxed while you are driving off road, and I feel like these tires have enabled us to drive a little bit faster and be a little bit more aggressive than perhaps we might normally be in some other off-road tires. And I mean, we are only driving these tires, so I'm not doing back-to-back comparisons of the Scorpion XTMs to anything else. But just driving these tires, what I want to say is they feel good. They feel really good. All right, we have now arrived in the Dumont Dunes area, and as I mentioned earlier, we were driving the Broncos, and then we switched into Wranglers. We were mostly on gravel roads this morning, but now we are switching to sand. We're going to be doing some dune driving. We're going to be doing, I think, some autocross in the sand, and definitely looking forward to seeing how these tires do in the sand, because on road they're great. On the gravel, they did really well. We saw firsthand the tires like spitting out the rocks from the vehicles in front of us. So they're doing what they're supposed to do. So once we air down and hit the sand, we will enter the next phase of testing and see how it does here. All right, so now we are driving on sand, and sand is my nemesis. I don't love driving in sand. But we haven't gotten stuck yet. Famous last words.
Say it, don't jinx it.
As long as the guy in front of me doesn't stop. So far, I would say these are doing really well in sand. We're essentially alternating between like sand and rocky bits. So it's like throttle, 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 slower over the rocks. Throttle, 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 slower over the rocks. but these tires seem to be handling the transitions really well. They said when we were on our break that they've been here for 4 weeks, and these are the same tires that they've used the entire time. They haven't had to change any tires. I would love to think that's because of the skill of the drivers, but I don't think so. Also, we have not aired down these tires. Normally you would be coming in here at probably about 20 PSI maybe, and we are at the manufacturer spec for on-road driving, and I think it was around 38 or 39 PSI is what I was seeing earlier. And we're getting out of the really soft sand, and we're getting into some more rocky, silty stuff. All right, we have done rocks, we've done sand, we've done on-road driving, and we have one more adventure left, and that is going to be this right here, electric cars, because Pirelli is making a Scorpion ATM specifically for EVs, and so we are going to have a chance to check out Rivian's in the Scorpion XTM tires. All right, so we're finishing out the day with the Pirelli Scorpion XTM tires in a Rivian.
Through there, eco version.
They call it the ELECT. ELECT?
Sorry. Yes.
ELECT.
I stand correct. But basically the version for EV SUVs.
Yes. And I already took my turn to drive. I figured it would be easier for me to do some talking while I wasn't driving. And I have to say, this is so smooth in sand. And, you know, the Bronco is in front of us leading, and, you know, he's having a much rougher ride than we are. This is about a 7,000-pound vehicle, and these tires are flipping amazing.
Air suspension helps.
Well, that's true. The air suspension helps. But, I mean, overall, we have spent 2 days on-road, off-road, in sand, in an electric vehicle. And I just am overall incredibly impressed with how well these tires have done. And again, we're not comparing them to anything. We're just driving the Pirelli Scorpion XTMs, but they're really damn good. So I'm just going to close out this video by saying this was a flippin' awful day at the office, and I don't know why Pirelli would do this to us.
So bad.
It was horrible. Totally kidding. This is amazing. So thank you for sticking with us on our journey with the Pirelli tires. And, you know, so far, like, they've had these tires going for, I think, 2 weeks straight, 4 different waves. They haven't had to replace a single tire yet. So that should tell you a whole bunch of people who've never driven off-road before and they haven't replaced tires. That, I think, is impressive. And again, they did not, like, lower the tire pressure. So. Except for these. So, in all, like I said, a really bad day at the office. So thanks for watching, and I will see you down the road.